Hello everyone, I all hope you had very much of a great, blessed morning and a great day indeed, guys. As you can see, guys, today's weather is completely, as in literally cold, as in very much freezingly cold and superly windy. I don't know exactly how does the weather look on your guys' sides, on your guys' different countries or continent. But either way, here it's quietly freezing cold and very much wintering cold as well. Regardless of the less, guys, thank you for staying with me on my journey and continue to also support me. Please continue to do so and also have a blessed day and a very much of a blessed week and continue to love yourself and to always exactly stay hopeful and very much positive in whatever it is that you're doing and stay strong and stay happy. Love you all and enjoy your day. Superly grateful from all of you with this great traumatic love of a heart. On today's episode, we're to speak about James, who is the supervillain and the left-hand man of Lord Justin, who is a former member of the Universal Heroes, by the way, which I told you his story on the other episode, which you can easily exactly look it up on YouTube. You'll find it exactly on YouTube. From those of you who are not exactly watching, from those of you who are actually watching the TikTok, you'll find the episode on YouTube as well. You can actually look it up on YouTube and you'll find it there. Regardless of the less, James is quietly the left-hand man of Lord Justin's empire, of Lord Justin's Shadow Empire fleet, which he's been able to dominate and create his own faction within the Shadow Empire for him to conquering many thousands of known worlds and civilizations and many thousands of known worlds and civilization in the entire known universe, and especially in the sacred universe and in the sacred universe, in the sacred universe and in the sacred world at all, in the sacred world as well, in the sacred world as well. Regardless of the less, James quietly believes in Lord Justin's ruling and also in his supreme ruling in remaining the dominant full leader of the entire known universe and especially of the sacred universe and of the known and the rest of existence as well, and is willing to help him furthering his ultimate plan and ultimate goal in the process, to making sure that his ruling and his authority is never unchallenged or never spoken about. Him being his left-hand man means that he's mostly trusted, worthy with Lord Justin's secrets, and all of, and him being trusted is him being trusted as Lord Justin's left-hand man. He's been entrusted with all his secret plans and his greatest, darkest plans and his sinister plans for soul conquest and for soul domination over the entire rest of sacred existence, in order for him to expanding his ruling and his empire throughout many known civilizations and sacred nations of the sacred world, or clans or tribes or magical worlds or magic dimensions or pocket dimensions or sinister dark dimensions for him to exactly ruling and controlling. Regardless of the last, James has proven himself to be very most reliable and a very most trustworthy left-hand man of Lord Justin as well. He also comes from an alien race of very sinister, powerful, dangerous conquerors known as the Harbican Corps, which is one of the most powerful, formidable alien race of conquerors that's quietly founded and led by Lord Harvick. And James comes from that alien race of conquerors, of an empire of conquerors known as a Harvican Corps. He was exactly born there, bred there, and exactly was quietly led to continue and fulfilling his mission and his soul destiny. So let's begin. In James's previous early life, the Harvican Corps royal guards exactly trained him in hand-to-hand combat, master tactician, super strategist, in organizing many attacks, and in orchestrating many attacks and many wars in the process. Regardless of this, James exactly passed the test with flying colors until one of the royal guards made their way straight into Lord Harvick, telling him that James is quietly ready for the full mission and for the full assignment that he needs to be tasked with for the Harvican Corps to begin its sole preparation to finish its long-term plans and goals in the process. Regardless of that, Lord Harvican Corps exactly realized that James possesses greater full potential and decided to give him half the fleet of the Harvican Corps empire of warships and of battleships and of battle cruiser ships and of warships and of battle cruiser ships of the Harvikan core Empire fleet so that he can use them to begin his conquest and to fulfilling his purpose and his destiny in the process. Regardless of that, James exactly took half of the fleet of the Harvikan core Empire and began his sole conquest and his sole mission by destroying and laying waste to thousands of worlds within the golden universe, spreading the glory and of the power of the Harvikan core's true domination throughout the golden universe, especially within the golden universe, since the golden universe is quietly ruled and obligated by the great ancient formidable law of gold, which James was able to revoke the law of gold by literally destroying its entire world's planets of gold, the golden worlds and the rest of the golden nations of the golden universe, and also crippling the golden master's rule and the golden king's true supremacy of ruling the entire golden universe. By doing so, created an uprising and a turmoil within the entire golden universe itself. Within the following centuries, after his great victory over the golden universe, James exactly returned to the sacred universe to conquer many numerous worlds, and many numerous planets in his wake, in order to exactly placing them under the sole control of the Harvikan core, which he actually did so. And throughout the following centuries, he continued to exactly conquering many other known worlds and many other known planets within the process until he exactly entered the great formidable sector, which is known as the sacred great nations sector, where he was able to exactly disguise himself as a different person due to his great extraordinary talents of shapeshifting and of also disguising himself in a process. He made numerous promises to sinister, very powerful, devious members of each sacred council of the sacred great nations, to helping them fulfilling their long-term plans and their goals in a process to furthering their ultimate plans and their goals in a process for them to conquering and also winning sacred wars in a process for them to remain in power and in control as well in the process, which in doing so the Harvikan core would gain a most powerful asset of influencing the great sacred great nations in the process to furthering the sinister fruitful plan in the process, well, in order to speeding up the process of the conquest in a very faster way and in a very more remote way as well. Within the following centuries, James exactly fought up against the 7 nation hunters, the 2 nation hunters, and the 3 nation hunters, and the 4 nation hunters, and the 10 nation hunters, and the 20 nation hunters, which he was able to get the attention from. Throughout his battle against those great sacred hunters, he was able to learn that they are very too powerful and are very too destructive, that it's best that he remains low and continuing with his goal and with his true mission as well. Over the following years, James exactly was summoned by mysterious shadowy astral projection of a figure who told him to meet him up on a very dark, mysterious hideout of a cave where they can speak in private, which he exactly accepted an invitation as well. Within the following near end of the great century, James exactly literally received the invitation to the dark cave, where the 4 mysterious shadowy astral projections of the most dangerous, ancient, sinister, deadly super criminals able to introduce themselves by concealing their true face, by actually concealing their true identity and their true face in the process as well, with their shadowy astral projections of themselves, but their eyes still remain the same. The other members' eyes were all purple. Some of their eyes were all red. The other members' eyes were all red. Others of them were all purple. Some of them were green. Some of them were orange. Some of them were in a very mysterious monstrous configuration of their true appearance, while the other members' eyes had bare, normal human eyes in the process as well. Regardless of that, James met up with the four mysterious, shadowy, powerful astral projections of one of the most dangerous, sinister, ancient criminals. And these four dangerous, ancient, sinister criminals told him that the Shadow Empire will soon be facing a true turmoil within its own very borders, and that he must be ready and prepared to aid and assist one of the most powerful, high-ranking officials of each Shadow Empire warlord or commander to joining forces with them, or either to helping them with their goals or with their plans, which is very inevitable for their goals and their plans to actually take place or to either bear fruit one way or another. James exactly accepted the proposition and asked that what would he possibly gain by doing that. The other shadowy astral projection told him that he would gain the most powerful position of all in order to becoming the right-hand man or the left-hand man of the most powerful warlord or the most powerful commander of all, which in doing so, you would offer them your services and your experiences and your expertise and your greater intergalactic talents of conquering and enslaving many nations and worlds, and your most prominent and undetectable talent of shapeshifting, and your greatest most powerful talent of influencing, which you actually possess that no one actually never sees, will never actually ever see coming from a different mile away. James exactly decided to accept the proposition and the mission, and he exactly told the four shadowy astral projection that if he gets too close to the higher ups or to any of the leaders, should he exactly remain within his position. The other astral projection told him that that is, after all, in his hands and after all, up to you. As long as the goal and the purpose is being fulfilled and the mission has already carried out its sole purpose and its true destiny, everything is now at your own hands. All they only concern about is that the mission and the purpose of the mission remains fulfilled at all cost. That is the true purpose that they are only concerned about. The rest will be up for him to decide that. After that, the great four shadowy astral projections dispersed and literally disappeared from the great dark cave and left James alone in the cave as well. And James decided to leave from the cave as well. Within the following years, James's fleet traveled across the known universe and across known magical worlds and planets, while James remained at the central throne of his fleet and ship until he was able to think about the proposition and thought that he would actually benefit very quietly good, which he realized that the opportunity is at his greatest fingertips at the moment as well. On the on the actual on the actual 27th of February, James and the rest of his scouts were able to report that the disappearance of the Universal Heroes on the 15th of February created another power vacuum within the Shadow Empire, which resulted the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders to fighting amongst themselves, while the others still secured their positions with the most powerful, dangerous, ancient associate of all sacred history in order to continue supplying them dangerous and destructive technology, while the others exactly formed their own formidable factions to taking control of the Shadow Empire for their own sinister goals and for their own ends as well. Despite that, his scouts were able to tell him that the Shadow Empire is still in chaos and also still quietly in turmoil. James exactly realized that he's going to have to speed up his process and also his plans as well in the process, well, to furthering his ultimate proposition, to furthering his position and also his goal in the actual event, what's exactly taking place. On the 19th of March, on the 19th of March, James exactly returned to the misty dark cave where all the shadowy astral projections are one of the most dangerous, powerful, sinister, ancient criminals of all sacred history were not exactly unknown or unmentioned, exactly reintroduced themselves in the shadowy astral projection form of themselves while their real bodies were elsewhere. Despite that, they still exactly conceal their identities and their true appearances, despite the astral projection showing the true appearances of themselves, but their eyes always remain the same. Regardless of that, all the members of the organization were all present as they told James now the opportunity is quietly present and the opportunity is quietly right there for him to take it and with his full preposition quietly in place, and that he must fulfill his true status and his true destiny at all cost. James exactly reassured his most dangerous associate that he will carry out his mission and his true purpose. Right now, he's just waiting for the perfect time in order to make his presence well known and also to be well unknown and also to remaining in under the radar, to be tracked and not to be disposed of, as they all agreed to that as well. Despite of that, the other shadowy astral projection told him that he must be very observant and very cautious and very open-minded, that the goal is in mind and that the plan must still go on and go forth with its true progress in order to speeding up the process they planned many centuries ago and during the ancient times, which is very crucial for the ultimate plan to begin its full preparation, as they all agreed to that, and so did James as well. On the 9th of April, James exactly manages to reconvene with the dark and devious Shadow Empire warlord and commanders on the sinister worlds and planets that they managed to conquer within the great years. Despite that, the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders saw loyalty. They pledged their allegiances and their loyalty to James, and exactly reassured James that they'll supply him with destructive and more compatible technology in the process. And James exactly told them all he will exactly give them is security and also a place of and also another powerful faction of battle cruisers, of rogue battle cruisers, and a fleet of deadly and highly advanced technology unever seen and unever noticed, as they all came to an agreement on that. On the 29th of May, James was quietly summoned by Lord Justin's Shadow Empire warlord in order to come to his central headquarters in order for him to exactly speak to him and tell him his goals and his true mission as well, and his destiny. James exactly told Lord Justin that his true goal and purpose is to serve those in power and is to make sure that they remain in power and in control over everything they've literally managed to controlling and also dominating their presence and the entire fleet and the rest of the empire and the rest of their forces. Making sure that they remain in power and in control is exactly what he's willing to do. His advisor, known as the most powerful Dark Witch, exactly told Lord Justin that it's best that they actually keep James as his left-hand man, which would be very crucial in order for him to have a powerful left-hand man by his side at all cost. And James exactly revealed to Lord Justin about his secret origins and about his past and his connection to his people known as the Harvikan Corps, which is an empire of evil, sadistic alien conquerors who are also partners of the Court of Nature, which is an ancient and powerful organization of super villains and criminals with a very powerful ancient goal and an evil agenda of their own. Regardless of that, James exactly explained his origins and told him his connections to the Harvikan Corps Empire, and Lord Justin seemed more happier than ever pleased that he received a very powerful, greater warrior from the Harvikan Corps Empire, realizing that now he has exactly received an ally and also a great powerful force that can never exactly underestimate his power and his supremacy at any other cost. On the on the actual on the actual on the actual of 27 of or 27 of 27 of 27 of June, James exactly was assigned to conquering many more worlds and many more planets throughout the entire sacred universe, which he actually did so by Lord Justin's orders, and he completely destroyed and decimated and laid waste to many known worlds and to many known civilizations in a process which got the attention of the 4 nation hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition to intercept his fleet and the rest of his forces. James exactly battled against the formidable Universal Founders, which was able to miraculously take down during the siege, which was able to literally able to be bestowing upon the other worlds and civilization. But he was quietly defeated in the process, and he told the rest of his fleet to retreat and also to literally go away, and he also disappeared within the process. The Universal Founders realized that James is becoming too powerful and totally unpredictable, and that he is quietly becoming a sinister force of evil that is highly unrecognized and also very too dangerous not to literally underestimate as well. On the 10th of July, James exactly resumed his disguised as a different person when he reconvened with the members, with the sacred members of the council, with the sacred members of the council who are part of the different sacred great nations on the central headquarters, which is a sacred chamber that houses great statues of the leaders, that houses great many statues of the former leaders and masters who were the previous emissaries, who were the previous leaders of the great sacred nations, or of the great sacred nations of the sacred world as well. Regardless of that, James exactly promises the members of each council of each sacred great nations that they still exactly have his allegiances and his loyalty, that they'll always exactly remain the same no matter what, and that nothing has changed since they all managed to speak during the past ancient conversation in within the following centuries, and that it will always exactly still remain the same. Regardless of that, the other council members exactly trusted James's word, and so did the others. But the others exactly told James that they are well aware that he's now Lord Justin's left hand man, and he's one of the most powerful, notorious, dangerous, most dangerous supreme lords of all lords, and not exactly in the power age of the great original Lord of Magic, but he's still supremely dangerous and very powerful. And he exactly is well aware of his secret origin of him coming to the Harbican core, which makes him very quietly trustworthy to you in your position. James exactly reassured his allies that his conviction, his obligation remains the same to Lord Justin's goals and to their mission, that it will always remain the same regardless of that, and that they should focus with the next phase of the plan of capturing and neutralizing the other sacred leaders in order to furthering a prominent goal as well. And they all agreed to that as well. On the 16th of August, within the peaceful mining operations where the great Dust clan was about to begin, was about to exactly send was about to send one of the young powerful teenagers of the sacred nations to begin carrying out the assignment task and roles within the desert of the dead, within the great desert of the dead, in order for them to carry out their role, assignments, and mission, for them to exactly tracking down and finding ancient forbidden knowledge and scrolls and powerful crystals and weapons that exactly still were scattered throughout the great warring staging periods of the warring states, where the great sacred nations wage war, and the other sacred nations also dispatch one of their students and one of their own students to exactly fulfill the assignment and their roles within the sacred task of a greatest exam as well. Within that particular time, James exactly and his associate began making the most dangerous, unpredictable move in order to literally to capture and subdue one of the other powerful superstitious, one of the most powerful superstitious heroes of all time, and to taking the forbidden power and the magic in the process, which will result in killing them and leaving them lifeless. One of his associates began performing a sinister ritual on the edge of the sacred desert, where there's an ancient desert temple, in order to catch one of these ancient creatures of the other great sacred nations, for them to actually using their forbidden dark powers and their abilities to furthering their sinister plan. Though the plans were quietly, literally thwarted and foiled due to the interference of the leader of the Dust Nation, who arrived in time to saving one of the other teenagers from the other sacred nations, realizing that the leader of the Dust Clan is quietly too dangerous and too powerful to be literally going toe to toe. James exactly decided to disappear from the attack and from the battlefield, leaving the operative to literally to be taken into custody after his greatest randoming defeat. On the 13th of September, James exactly resumed his still shape-shifting disguise, as he usually actually did, and was able to speak with one of the members of the council of the Dust Clan, telling him that the plan and operation was quietly foiled due to the interference of the leader of the Dust Clan of the Dust Nation, was able to exactly arrive in the nick of time to saving one of the young supernatural individuals, and that they could not exactly grab a piece of her power, a piece of her or greater forbidden power or technique at all due to the interference of the leader, and that with him interfering, he quietly realized that there's a huge compromisation within his console, and that now he'll be starting to be coming on to the operation and on to them one way or another. The consulman exactly reassured James that everything else is in order, that all the other members of the council know very well not to exactly rat out each other, and that their loyalty are still exactly the same, and that the leader of the Dastan is too powerful, and that he's also greater formers, and he's also still and also still a powerful ally of the Universal Heroes and very loyal to them, and which is completely up to them to exactly find a way to turn the situation around before it literally dissolves into chaos, which he told them to give him enough time to come up with a better plan and with a very suitable plan that might actually benefit them in numerous ways, as James agreed to that as well. On the 28th of October, James exactly remained within his central headquarters, which are powerful dark worlds and planets that he managed to conquer and rule, where many of his fleets were still hovering within the air. A powerful hologram of Lord Harvikan Core exactly began to reveal itself to James, and telling him that he's very quietly pleased of James's great progress, and saw the rest of his high-ranking officials and the rest of his forces of the Harvikan Core Empire, telling him that he's managed to make the Harvikan Core Empire the most powerful and the most prominent force in the entire known universe, and that it's soon or rather or later they will exactly resume their status quo and resume their power and resume their dominant power throughout sacred history, which they've been meant to always do in the process, and that their partnership and the alliance with the most dangerous super ancient criminal societies known as the Court of Nature as able to maintaining their goal and their long-term plan to literally bear fruit in a very, very much sinister and very faster way, in a very much of a greater progress. Regardless of that, James was very quietly pleased and very much quietly relishes that his Lord and Master is very satisfied with the progress, and that the operation of his plan and goal is already bearing fruit in the process as well, as he assured his master that things are still going according to plan, the way they're supposed to be as well. On the 29th of November, James exactly projected a very powerful holographic projection of himself. This holographic projection of himself was more quietly the same of him, but more light and more brighter of him within Lord Justin's chamber, within Lord Justin's crystal chamber, and exactly told him that the preparations and plans have been set the way they're supposed to be, meaning that everything else can begin taking place the way it needs to be, and all else has been set and everything else is ready to go on according to plan. Lord Justin exactly told his lieutenant man that he must begin his role and beginning fulfilling his true plan and his true destiny at once, that his empire would also remain the dominant force in the entire sacred universe and throughout Shadow Empire history as well, which he told James to proceed him on with the next phase of the plan. And James agreed that it's time for drastic actions and drastic measures to begin taking place. On the actual 12th of December, James exactly reconvened with the Shadow Empire warlord and commanders on another sacred world and planet that was quietly ruled by the ancient ancestors of the previous Shadow Empire warlord and commanders before the original Lord of Magic took the Shadow Empire and used its destructive dark cosmic resources for his ultimate ancient imagination. Regardless of that, James exactly reconvened with the Shadow Empire warlords and told them to soar their allegiance and their loyalty to Lord Justin, which is very important and very crucial for them to actually do so. They all quietly refused. To that end, James exactly decided to demonstrate to them the power and the might he possesses. He brought up a huge, dark, systematic, sinister, organic of dark power of technology that was never unlikely seen before, which destroyed all the other battle cruisers that were quietly hovering within the planet's atmosphere and initially destroyed them all with one fell swoop. After that, the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders submitted and bowed down to James, while the others retreated away and literally defected in order to carry out their own goals and their own missions as well in the process. Regardless of that, James was very pleased and very happy and told them that now the plan can finally begin. On the 20th of January, James and the other Shadow Empire warlord and commanders were within the dark crystal chamber, where they exactly saw through their monitors that the Four-Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition is growing in power and is specifically rising in power due to the fact that the new threat of the new Lord of Magic, known as Lord Clay and Lord Jet, who are quietly at war with each other, with the most powerful ancient organization and secret society that are also quietly rising in power, meaning that they also pose a threat to their goals and that it's time for him to improvise a solution and a very faster solution as well. On the 13th of February, James was able to reconvene with Lord Justin and the rest of his high-ranking officials on a secretive crystal chamber, and exactly told Lord Justin that he made a big mistake in underestimating the Universal Founders and the rest of their forces, which he will not exactly do again. Lord Justin exactly told James that he learned out the hard way that his former teammates and his former allies are too powerful and that their abilities must never again to be underestimated or undermined ever again, which will be resulting in a big mistake for him to go toe-to-toe and face-to-face with them. And James exactly reassured the other high-ranking officials of Lord Justin's empire that he has a plan in place to put it straightly into motion. On the 10th of March, James exactly began his final siege on the other magical worlds and planets in order to get the attention of the universal magic heroes and of universal magical, which they exactly arrived in time with their own allies, with their own powerful, formidable allies of the warlords, of the warlocks, fairies, witches, and druids, and faithful and good light witches, and good light witches, and pixies and great pixies and elves and great elves, and also great secretive elves, and one of the most powerful sinister leaders of the entire sacred magic universe also arrived to aid the universal magic heroes in fighting up against James's fleet and the rest of his forces. Universal Magical was able to fight up against James with the aid of her teammates, which they continued after putting up a greater battle against him. James exactly realized that Universal Magical is very quietly skillful in magical powers and also in great magical powers and abilities, and decided to also to retreat and withdraw from the attack as well. On the 13th of April, James exactly returned to the central headquarters of Lord Justin's empire and exactly told them that the preparations are quietly set according to plan, and that everything else is working out the way it was supposed to be, and that everything else has been set from the very beginning, that the plan can now begin taking place. And Lord Justin exactly told him that he must resume his position by staying by his side now in order for him to carry out his sinister master plan of universal domination, to literally destroying the Dark Warlord and the Dark Witch that are taking control of the Dark Empire once and for all. And James agreed that it is after all time that they actually do it as well. Despite this, guys, James is very completely highly open-minded, very observant, and very highly skillful in manipulation, mind controlling, with the great power and abilities of shapeshifting, unlocking forbidden different techniques of power for him to utilize from his own. He comes from the Harbican core, which is actually a powerful, formidable, systematic race of a dark empire, of a systematic, sinister, sadistic dark empire known as a Harbican core that's been conquering many worlds and many civilizations throughout the entire known universe, and that's quite well known in Four-Nation Hunter history, and also as well in well known in sacred history as well. They've been waging war with the Four-Nation Hunters and with the origins for centuries through to their blood thirst of conquering many worlds and many planets in the civilization. Regardless of that, James is very loyal to his people and to the rest of his empire and to the rest of his empire's people and to Lord Harbican Core's true obligation and true mission, and also very loyal and committed to Lord Justin's true mission and to his plan and to his proposition, and is very well trustworthy with their secrets and with their plans and with their goals, solely trustworthy enough that he's able to gain the attention of the most powerful sinister ancient organization of super shadowy criminals who were able to exactly call upon him to carry out his new purpose and new mission and new operations for him to exactly proceeding with his own plans and with his goal, which was able to forming formidable sadistic allies with the most powerful ancient shadowy criminals of all time, utilizing their resources and him giving them his resources and his cosmic resources of the entire Harbican Core, so that they can remain in full transition of each other's goals and of each other's different goals and mission as well. despite that, James is very loyal and very obedient and very trustworthy and very kind to his allies, such as each member of the council of the such as each member of the sacred great nations council members. He reviews them as great allies and great friends, and is willing to share any secrets with them, and any greater secrets with them, and also orchestrating their own sinister plans and goals, and by carrying out their own evil agenda as well in the process, to carry out their own plans and their own mission to controlling and influencing the other sacred great nations of the sacred world in the process. Due to this, James is very powerful, sadistic, cruel, merciless, and very skillful in detection with the power of sensory and perception, and also in detection with the power of immortality, long gravity, and with the great power of marksmanship, hand-to-hand combat, shape-shifting technique, which has been given to him and which has been quietly been given to him over time, and which he's been able to use in order to disguise himself as a different person, and also as a different person or as a different being, and with the power of transformation and the power of summoning, and also with the greater power of creating, and also combining destructive technology all in one and all together as well. Very committed to his work, very committed with the power of stealth, disappearing, reappearing at will from the shadows, teleportation, which you can exactly do with the mysterious unknown power of teleportation, which you can just mysteriously disappear and teleport himself as well. Endurance, stability, and agility, super limping, the power of summoning sand, and manipulating the great energy elements of fire, water, earth, and wood, and mist and stone and lightning in the process, and with the power of manipulating shadow energy and dark matter as well, which has been literally been given to him. He can master all these ancient forbidden techniques which his body can actually take and tolerate as well, but he does not infuse himself with shadow energy. He never infuses himself with shadow energy or wild energy. He uses the shadow energy and also its power and also its greater powers and abilities to literally improve his powers and his abilities and his techniques in the process, which can also actually do for him in the very much quietly in the process, granting him the power of interdimensional teleportation, to traveling between unknown mysterious dimensions of the sacred universe of space and time, and throughout the entire magic universe of space and time as well, which you can also do. Very good in forming sinister, powerful alliances with the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders, evil warlocks, druids, witches, and dark faithful, and also evil warlords and sinister criminals and deadly unknown criminals and forces of evil that he is able to exactly partner up as well, and also making sure that he fulfills their goals and their own personal agendas, which he can also aid with their respective missions and goals and their sole objectivity in trying to conquer or control the entire sacred universe. Rather than that, he believes in the obligation and in the mission of Lord Justin's true devotion of making him the sole superior ruler, and is very trustworthy and very obedient as his left-hand man. And due to him being Lord Justin's left-hand man, his empire has also become too dangerous and too powerful and too formidable for the other high-ranking officials of the Shadow Empire, warlords and commanders, to systematically challenge him and also to fight him up against him as well. Due to this, he's also very good in maintaining his individual bases of operation as well as his central headquarters, which is a powerful, dark, sinister worlds and planets that he managed to control and conquer, which he uses it as his base and essential headquarters of operation, to giving his allies and his associate the protection and the security they all need in order for them to exactly communicate in full secrecy, for them not to be identified or literally not to be identified or to be identified by their greatest adversaries and enemies as well. He learns the hard way that the universal founders and the universal magic heroes, the universal magic girl, and their abilities in thwarting his operation and his plan is too dangerous for them not to take them lightly. And he goes to such extreme measures to taking them down and also trying to wipe them out in a different way. He's very patient with his goals, loves taunting his adversaries and his enemies. Out of all the members of the Universal Heroes, he quietly despises Universal Magic Girl and the Universal Founders, and as well as Warboy, and Rex, which he quietly despises and doesn't exactly like the members of the Universal Heroes, and is willing to go toe-to-toe with them, which they all exactly ended up in an even match the odds of a battle, since their abilities are so different from each other. They're very highly skilled in combat, but he's a super strategist and a super tactician, very good in orchestrating, manipulating events with the power of mind controlling, deception, telekinesis, psychic communication, telepathic powers, and with the greater power and the ability of greater projection, of sensing and detecting evil, of sensing and detecting powerful, greater universal cosmic powers and magical abilities and enemies' presence closing in on him. Is very quietly good with that as well, and also to detecting their presence from a very far distance. He even promises the dark magic users of the dark druids and of the dark witches and of the dark faithful powerful technology and greater security for their operation and for their loyalty and for their services, in order for them to enhancing the experiment, which are very crucial and very important for Lord Justin's empire, and also for his services as well, which he quietly views as a great traumatic services to the cause and to Lord Justin's empire. The way he literally respects Lord Justin is completely out of devotion. He literally shows him total devotion and total respect for him, and he shows him that he will never betray him, as he opens up everything and every detail about his powerful associate and allies and his loyalty to the Harvican core and to Lord Harvick, that he's willing to exactly remain in Lord Justin's right, left hand man at all times. And Lord Justin respects James's trusting and also opening up to him, as he realized that he is truly devoted to him and always will remain so. And due to that, they trust each other with their secrets and with their past, in order to carry out one of their secretive, dangerous, long-term plans in the process. And James has learned the hard way that the Universal Heroes and the 4 Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition, their abilities and their interference with the interference of causing the operations to following up their plan, can never repeat and never happen again, which he has taught himself to take a different direction and a different approach to dealing with the threat or the obstacle that dare oppose them. But rather than that, he develops a greater fascination over Universal Magic Girl, and over Rex and over Warboy and over the members of the Universal Heroes, which he quietly respects and able to exactly learn from them, from their compared abilities, and decides to copy them, which he can actually copy their abilities and their fighting styles quickly with Ace, and memorizes them by combining his forbidden techniques and secretive techniques and expertise and powers and abilities all together in one, which he's very quietly good at that. Very dangerous. James is quietly known by other different aliases, since he's a very powerful, shape-shifting, formidable warrior of a supernatural deadly killer, of an ancient creature of a deadly killer, known as James, the copy James, or the Shadow James, or the Harvick James, or the Hybrid James, or the Great Deadly James, or the Formidable Viruses James, or the Great Superior James of all time. He's known by different aliases and by different names, due to him living longer and also granting himself greater longevity, not meant to be underestimated. Due to his longevity, he learns to be patient and to wait for the right time to attack. Having a fleet of battle cruisers and of airship fleet at his disposal, he learns for the right time to wait and also to strike at the very formidable time. He possesses the power of influence, greater unlimited resources, and greater power of unknown techniques, which he has at his disposal. Very well mastered in the art of deception, possesses an army of great, formidable Harvican core soldiers, scouts, and sleeping agents at his disposal, and he uses them very wisely and very good in order for them to hide themselves. When the time is ready, he will activate them. Very intelligent, 12th level intellect, sharp, highly observant, and very good in detecting enemies and also seeing lies from a very mile away. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode. I'll exactly see you tomorrow. Today's episode is James, the supervillain and the left-hand man of Lord Justin. Have a wonderful, great day, and enjoy yourself, and also stay safe and Love you all. And as you can see, guys, today's weather might actually rain, which it will exactly rain. But regardless of that, guys, enjoy yourself and also take care of yourself. See you tomorrow on Wednesday, where we'll carry out the next topic. We'll carry out the next episode of the most dangerous and novel creatures or supervillains or ancient threats of evil forces, and as well and superheroes and greater fortune hunters. Either way, take care of yourself. God bless you. Have a blessed week and have a blessed day. And love you all and enjoy yourself. And also very grateful for your support. Continue to liking, subscribing, and into my channel and to my episodes as well. You'll find them on TikTok and on YouTube. Have a blessed day and love you all. Take care. Bye. Bye.